Hey there. I am reflecting this morning on everything that's happening outside of the United States and how caught up personally that I can get in the news broadcasts and everything. And there's so many things going through my mind about it that I struggle to find the focus. I struggle to find the line that draws it all together. So I think the main point of the message is how distracted we are from finding ourselves, from understanding ourselves, and being able to hold space for ourselves so that we can hold space for others. So I know just from life experience and my own soul connection that no matter how tough life is for somebody, that I can't feel bad enough to help them feel better. Instead, what I can do is I can hold space for myself to be present for them, if that makes sense. The more present you are within yourself, the more you're able to be there for others, and the more you're able to hold space for others. However, from my experience, and it may be different for somebody who was homeschooled or something like that. I know there's so many different life paths out there. But in my experience, we are not taught how to do that as we're going through public school. I got some of that in college and with like my nursing degrees, and absolutely learned about it really mostly with my education to be board certified as a holistic nurse. So my point is, like, unless you have the ability to pay for the education, to even be exposed to it, in general, we're not taught how to know ourselves and understand ourselves in society to begin with. We're very distracted by everything else, by how we should look, how we should be, how we should act, how we should conform, and by all of the terrible other things that are happening in the world. So I feel like it's starting to find that thread to weave it through now. So yes, bottom line, if you can't hold space for yourself and know yourself, then it's highly unlikely you're going to be able to hold space for other people and be that light for them. So what I recommend is getting to know yourself and learning to trust the guidance that's coming to you. And if you haven't ever done that before, it can be really hard to know, or tricky to know, or elusive maybe, to understand what is guidance and what isn't. So I think maybe start with where you're at and start to pay attention to how you're feeling when you're making a choice. So for me, my guidance feels like curiosity. It feels like it feels like curiosity. And it can be very, very, very small, like, oh, I want to learn more about that. And then I'm led down a path where I learn more about it, or I choose to learn more about it. You do have to take action on your guidance. I mean, it doesn't just do everything for you. It's like a little breadcrumb. That's another way how it feels. It's a breadcrumb. So curiosity feels like, it feels different than numbing and distracting, right? So maybe try that. Like, if you're not sure if it's guidance or if it's not guidance, ask yourself, what does this feel like? Does this feel like curiosity, or does this feel like it's going to be more heavy and dense on me? Let's see. Ego's in there, and I'm trying to verbalize the concept that is in me right now with that. So ego wants to protect you. Ego wants to keep you safe. Ego is not bad. I mean, it's there for a reason, and you want to learn how to what's the word? Not decipher. Discern ego from guidance. I think maybe that's one of the biggest hurdles that folks have. And probably the biggest one that I still struggle with. Is this guidance or is this my ego? So for me, if I make the choice that I'm considering making, so I like imagine making the choice before I make the choice. And if it feels heavier and dense when I'm considering, what it would look like, it's most likely ego. If it's going to keep me safe and comfortable, it's most likely ego. And I'm not talking about extreme safety conditions. Like, I'm not talking about tightrope walking between two very tall buildings or something without a safety net. I'm not talking about that sort of safety. I'm talking about, or uncomfortableness. I'm talking about just general everyday. If I make the choice and it's going to keep me very comfortable, then it's probably ego. And if I make the choice and it's going to make me uncomfortable, but it's going to help me grow and expand, that's most likely guidance. Oh shoot, there was something just there. There was more there. Let's see if I can capture it again. Oh yes. Okay. So yeah, there's that. And then there's actually putting it into practice. I can tell you that just because you know how to make the choice or you know how to discern doesn't mean you're going to be perfect and you're going to make the right choice. I am really, 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 really learning so much more deeply lately about how to love my ego and keep it in check, I guess. Because there's been so many, because there's new road being paved right now, and I've said this before in a previous video, but there's new road being paved, and I'm having to make choices I haven't had to make in the past. Conditions are more extreme, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't had to make those choices before, and now I'm having to, and I'm not always making the right choice. I'm not always choosing to follow my guidance versus ego. I'm not always choosing discomfort and growth over comfort. But what I am learning through that is that when I am choosing comfort, or what my ego is telling me to choose, in the end, it wasn't the choice that was the most helpful, and it makes me uncomfortable anyway, because then I'm having to deal with the repercussions of it, if that makes sense. We're never always going to be perfect, ever. We're here to grow and learn and expand, and you can't do that through being perfect in everything. That's not how it works. So it's also coming to terms and surrendering to just knowing that getting comfortable with being uncomfortable because of growth and expansion versus being uncomfortable because of ego choices. I think they're more uncomfortable in the end, and in the end it always comes back around to that growth anyway. So yeah, I guess, so what I'm trying to say with all of this is, when you're able to know yourself and hold space for yourself and understand yourself and understand energetically how you're making choices and if they're guidance versus ego and things like that, then you're able to stand in a grounded place. You're able to stand in your power. You're not giving your power away. And when you're able to do that, you're able to really shine and glow and hold space for others who are going through just horrendous, terrible things. And the more of us that are able to do that, and honestly right now have the luxury to do that, the more I think it's going to help humanity, really, in the end. Or in the, just, I don't know that there's an end. But the more that we're going to be able to help each other, no matter where we're at in the world. Okay. Take care. Bye.